Konnichiwa, welcome to my channel. I'm Princess Ruth Maria and this is my very first story time. I hope you can stick with me till the end. And I want to start off saying that I did not film this video, or I'm not filming it with the purpose to warn people like, hey, don't ever travel abroad or don't go to Israel, it's not safe. That is not the case. I felt quite safe in my trip to Israel, and sadly, this incident happened, but things happen anywhere around the world. Like a week and a half later, we were in Paris and they were doing protests there and burning buildings and breaking windows. So when you're traveling, things might happen just the same. If you're in your hometown, things happen, sadly. But you learn, you live them, and you try to grow from them, okay? So I want to say that, and I'm not making this up. This is what actually happened on March 14th, 2019, while my godmother and I were in Tel Aviv, Israel. And I'm not exaggerating either. So just so you know, this is not clickbait. And I wanted to quickly say that if you Google 2019 March Tel Aviv rocket strike, you might find something like this. A rocket strike occurred on March 14th, 2019, when 2 rockets were launched from the Gaza Strip towards Tel Aviv, which is where we were staying. The incident is the first rocket strike against Tel Aviv on the Israel-Palestinian conflict since the 2014 Gaza war. So you can also continue reading there more information, and you're going to find that this happened at 21:07. So it's 9:07 p.m. We were sleeping. To give you a backstory, my godmother and I arrived in Israel on Tuesday. We were leaving on Saturday. If we don't count the 2 travel days, we had 3 days to explore Israel. So we decided to stay in Tel Aviv, and we went also to Jerusalem. This particular day we had gone to Jerusalem and it had rained cats and dogs. Like, it was crazy rain. So by the time we had had dinner and gone back to our Airbnb, which, for your information, it was on a 19th floor. It had an amazing view of Tel Aviv and all the city lights. It was amazing. But by the time we got back, we were soaking wet. We were like dripping. So obviously, we had to take all the wet clothes off and shower. So my godmother goes to take a shower while I'm here in the room seeing where I put all these wet clothes. And just, you know, I was exhausted. So by the time she comes back, I had already closed this like metal protection or shade, or I don't know what you call that. Basically what it is like a metal curtain on the outside of your window, or the window, so because it's a really big window. So all the city lights are going in, and if you want to try to sleep with all those lights on, it's kind of hard. So you close that, and then it's like dark, completely dark. You don't see the outside world at all. We are in a small room, mind this. So there's 2 twin beds. There's the bed that I'm in, which is the one by the window. It's literally the window, the bed. There is no space. There is an aisle, a little aisle between my bed and where my godmother was sleeping. There is a nightstand, her bed, a little aisle with a mini fridge, and then there's the closet door. And in front of us, we had a TV and some types of small cubbies where you could put stuff in. So by the time my godmother comes into the room, I go to take a shower. I had ran out of clothes, so I had to hand wash because I wanted clean clothes for the next day and the day that we were going to travel, because our Airbnb did not have a washer dryer, or was not provided. So I'm washing my clothes, and I had ran out of clothes, so I had to sleep in my basketball shorts and a blouse. Now we're talking about a fancy thin blouse that was long sleeve. It had like 2 long straps. You could do a nice little bow, or, you know, it was not what I was planning to wear to sleep, like this comfy cotton t-shirt. So it was cold. I had to dry my hair because I washed my hair, dry my hair quickly, and I went back to the room. My godmother was finishing reading her Bible. I turned off the lights. Good night. I checked my phone and I put my phone away, and that was it. It was time to sleep. We were both knocked out. So I didn't hear a thing. You could be blasting music outside that I was completely asleep. But when this happened, I just want to say that our host was amazing. Like, she's the best. I could not hear what was happening outside. But as one says, she swung that door open, like, boom. And she started saying, like, come out. Like, my godmother, she understands English and she can speak a little, but if you start screaming or you're talking like really fast, she's not going to understand. So our host was saying, like, get up and get out, but it was like really fast. This all happened, I don't know how many seconds, but I read that the first 30 to 90 seconds when you hear that siren go off is when it's like the most important moment, because that's when you have to run for shelter. So our host like opens that door, she like swings it open completely, and she's like, get out now. Now when she says now, I'm kind of like thinking, okay, what's going on? It's urgent. So my godmother, she sat on the bed and she's like, what's happening? And I'm like, she's telling us to leave. And I go into like this bossy mode and I tell my godmother, like, take your jacket and your shoes. I don't know what happened to me or how I actually did this, but the only thing I was thinking was the most important was not my phone, was not my passport. Like, if something happened, you want your passport to be with you, but I was not thinking about that. So I grabbed my glasses from the nightstand and my boots, and I'm ready to run. Run, Forrest, run. Okay, maybe it wasn't like that. Okay, yeah, I was ready to run. So by the time I'm going out the door, I was ready to like head straight to the main door, to the main entrance, and just like, we're on the 19th floor. So I don't know if I'm thinking I'm gonna start like running down 19 floors of stairs. But once I'm at the door and I'm, just about to continue, our host is like, in here. Like, so I turn into the room that was next to our room. Now, we had seen prior days, the previous days in our trip, so prior to all of this, we had always seen a closed door, but this door was kind of strange because it was bigger. It kind of looked like a vault. Like, why would you have a vault in your apartment? Like, you can have it, but it's kind of obvious like that something's in there. So I don't know what's going on, honestly, but I thought when our host came in, like, out of the top of her lungs telling us to wake up and to get out, I thought, okay, number one, this is an earthquake. I'm gonna run for my life because I had felt earthquakes traveling through Central America, and those are not fun. But then again, I'm like, no, this is not an earthquake because we would be feeling something, we're on the 19th floor. So I'm like, oh, what if it's like a really bad storm that's going outside? Like, it's raining so bad and I don't know. So when all of this happens, I have no idea what's going on. I just know that there is a sirens going on extremely loud, like, ooh. Okay, maybe not like that. Maybe, ooh. No, that's not it. Yeah, something like that. You get the idea. So we run into this room. There's a bed. It's just the room, okay? It could be like a guest room. I don't know. So my godmother is right behind me. I sit in the front of the bed and she sits at the end of the bed. Our host closes this huge door. She's having some type of issue with the door. She closes the door and then she sits with us you know, in the middle of the bed, she sits with us and she says, something along the line of this. Okay, I'm not going to say exactly the same words because I might miss something because we were obviously nervous, but we didn't want to show it. So she says, everything's fine. Okay, don't worry. This hasn't happened in years. Number one, this hasn't happened in years. Oh my goodness. Why does it have to happen now? Number two, it might be just the rain that activated the system because we are not hearing any response, like any other rocket strike, like attacking. The response, you know, like two rockets, like, I don't know. I'm not an expert at rocket launches and missiles flying and stuff like that. But when you hear the word response, you understand that it's like, okay, here this one, here the other one, boom, boom. So she's like, we're not hearing that, but this room is safe. This room is designed to protect us. So this room also had a window with the curtain, like I guess, I thought it was like a blackout curtain, metal curtain on the outside, but this one particularly was probably even thicker. And I'm just sitting on the bed and my teeth are like, yeah, okay. My godmother is at the end of the bed sitting down, looking at me like, you were the one that wanted to come to Israel. Like, I wanted to come here, but it was not in my original plan to be here. And here we are sitting in this room. It's a safe room and we have no idea what's going on outside. So our host had forgotten, like in the rush, trying to get us safe, she had forgotten her cell phone. Basically, you have to have your phone because that's where they tell you, like they send you the warnings. You can go out or you have to stay in the safe room for a little longer, or they basically tell you what is going on. So here we are, and I'm over here like, yeah, we're fine. I had my glasses on. I don't know if my phone, I had left it or if I even took a jacket. I know my godmother had her jacket and her shoes. So I'm in flip-flops with my shoes, my glasses, wearing that shirt that I'm like the blouse, and I'm like, oh my goodness, if there was an emergency, this is not the way I want to be on the news. But, you know, not that it was important to be thinking that, but I'm just like shaking in the inside. And then she's like, oh, what an experience y'all are going to have to, you know, talk about back home right here in Israel. But don't worry, everything's going to be fine. This room is safe. She did a wonderful job, like being calm. And we weren't like, oh my goodness, we're going to die. We were not like that. But obviously we were kind of like confused because I didn't honestly know if this was an actual, like we were under attack, or if it was just the rain, because she was like, it was probably just the rain. We knew it had rained really bad, so there's a possibility. So we're in the room, I don't know how many minutes, but it felt long and short at the same time. So she's like, please stay here. I'm going to bring my phone. So I'm thinking, why are you leaving us? You have to get your phone, but if something happens, the door. So she goes quickly outside to her room. She comes in, closes the door once again, and she starts, you know, looking through her phone and whatever news or system they have. And she says, I don't see anything. Let's just wait a little longer. So I look once again to my godmother and I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I was concerned. Like my godmother had been through so much in the first week of this trip. She had to be in an ER because like in Budapest because of her high blood pressure, which happened out of nowhere, and other medical situations. And I'm over here thinking, Lord, please help us. Like, I want to live. It's been an experience to be here. And I know that I'm in your hands. We're in your hands. If something happens, well, I'm ready to go home. Yeah. So she was okay. She was, calm, but she wasn't talking. So I'm the one talking to her host, and I'm like, yeah, we're fine. We're okay. Yeah, what an experience, right? So we wait a little longer. I don't know how much, but we're just waiting there. And then we start hearing this like, or maybe I'm really terrible at sound effects, but it's kind of like, so it seems as if the neighbors from upstairs, they were opening the window, like the blackout curtain, metal curtain, whatever. They were opening it. So our host, she looks through her phone and she's like, well, I don't see anything. If this, if the siren goes off again, the sirens go off, you have to come into this room and close the door. But hopefully it was just the rain. I had, so. Okay, so we're like, okay, thank you. We'll be, paying attention. I don't know how, because we were extremely tired, but we went back into the room, and we get in the room, we close the door, and I tell my godmother, whoa, right? And she was like, what is this? And I'm like, I don't know. And she tells me, I had previously read this psalm. And I'm like, please read it. Please read that psalm once again. She had read the psalm about God's protection to us, and I'm like, okay, read it. She read the psalm. I got on, on the bed. I lay down, and I don't know if I text or I called my parents. I'm like, hey, this just happened. We ran to the safe room. We're out. We're in our room, but we're okay. So my parents are like, okay. I hang up, and immediately my friend, which, it's cool to have friends that actually are worried about you. And she was like, hey, are you in Tel Aviv? Because I know you're in Israel and you were going to be in Tel Aviv. This just happened. There were rockets, 2 rockets. I think she told me like there were 2, or she just told me that rockets were launched. And I'm like, really? Because I'm inside. I did not open that metal curtain at all. I did not want to see what was going outside, because I don't know what we were going to see, but I didn't want to open that. So she was like, yeah. And then she sent me like the screenshots of the news, and some media that I was like, oh my, so this is really happening. I'm telling her, hey, we're safe. We just had to run to a safe room, and I'm kind of explaining to her, and she's like, okay, keep me updated. And then I text my other friend, which she's amazing, and she was like extremely, I don't even know how to describe, like she was so concerned about us during our whole entire trip that she would like text every day, and she would call. And when this happened, she was like, leave, please leave. So I'm like, okay, we're fine. We're going to stay till Saturday, which is, it's just a day and a half away. So we're going to stay here. I just want you to know we're safe. Okay. So she was kind of like, oh, well, please try to avoid dangerous places and everything, but it was fine. So what happened? We went back to bed. And this is going to be a long video, but I'm just trying to explain everything in detail. We went back to bed, and thank God we were able to rest. The next day, I opened that curtain up, and there was Tel Aviv, more beautiful than ever. How do I end this story? Thank God nothing happened. There were no casualties. There were no reports of buildings being destroyed. I do know that there were attacks. There's some rockets were launched to the Gaza area, and I think it was a week or 2 weeks later. I don't remember. There was some other type of attack, but this one in particular, on March 14th, 2019, I was there to say that we survived, because we don't know. What if that rocket like landed on the rooftop of this building or any other building? Or I just want to say that Israelis are extremely prepared, and their citizens in a way are like so caring for the people that come to visit. Like I heard people were walking on the streets and they were just like pulled inside places just to make sure they were in a safe room or in a safe area. Total strangers, like they take so much care, like and they honestly want you to enjoy your time there. And I actually appreciate that our host was so calm. She was very specific, like this has not happened in a long time. It might be the rain, and this is, and if anything happens, you have to come. And she was explaining everything like in such a calm way that she made us understand like this happens. And you don't want that to happen on your trip, but it actually gave me a new perspective about not everything is how it comes out like on the media. Not everything is as negative. These things sadly happen, but I just want to say this does not mean you have to stop traveling or specifically travel to Israel. Like it was amazing. And yeah, it was scary. And we didn't even know what was going on. Like if it wasn't for my friend that she actually texted me, like we thought at some point that it was just the rain. So I just want to say thank you to all the hardworking people and all the people that make sure everyone's safe. And yeah, this is my story time. What else do you want to hear on the next story time? If you're interested. If not, anyways, I do other videos. I have vlogs of that 26-day trip, and I have Spanish and English videos, and I start my videos with konnichiwa and I finish them with sayonara. So I'll see you in the next one. Sayonara! Oh, and remember, more smiles and less tears.